You are about to plunge into a truth so deep and unsettling that it can change everything you ever believed about who you are, where you came from, and where you're going. From the moment you breathed your first breath, the world began to mold you with rules, beliefs, absolute truths. You have learned that there is an I separate from the other, that time is linear, that the world is solid and unchanging, and that death is the end point of existence. But what if I told you that absolutely all this is an illusion? Yes, a construction, a mental simulation created not by an external entity or a cosmic computer, but by you, by your consciousness. What you call reality may just be a holographic projection of your mind, a carefully orchestrated staging to keep you distracted and disconnected from the truth. And this truth is simple or frightening and liberating. You don't exist, at least not the way you think you do. What you call you, name, body, history, memories, identity, is just an interface, a mask, a temporary character within an experience we call life. Who are you but thoughts? Who are you when you're not remembering the past or worrying about the future? When silence comes, what is left? This question is the portal. The ancient masters of Tibet, occultists, alchemists, and scholars of mystery schools already knew. Identity is a veil, and behind it there is something immensely greater, a universal, eternal, and indivisible consciousness. And more, they knew that the reality we live is shaped by this awareness. That the universe is not a fixed stage with immutable rules, but rather a vibrational field, a dance of possibilities influenced by the mind that observes. Modern science is gradually beginning to reach the same conclusion. Physicists like John Wheeler, David Bohm, and Amit Goswami brought to the world the concept of a participatory universe, where the observer has an active role in the creation of reality. You heard right. The universe responds to your perception. That is, what you believe becomes true. But then the inevitable question arises: if everything is a projection, who is projecting? Ever wonder where your thoughts come from? Who is hearing that voice in your head now? Maybe you say, "It's me." But who is this I? What is this you that observes, thinks, feels, decides? Think about it. You did not choose to be born. He did not choose his name, his culture, his language, his body, his family, nor the first thoughts that began to inhabit his mind. Everything has been programmed, installed, as if it were software running inside a machine. You are living an experience, but who is the observer of this experience? What if this I that you think is just a reflection conditioned by memories and beliefs? A construction of the mind, a manufactured ego. Many spiritual masters say that the ego is an illusion, a dream within the dream. Believing that you are just this body, this name, this face in the mirror, is like believing that the character of a movie is real off-screen. But it has more. The very structure of time, past, present, and future, is another great illusion. You think you are living in the now, but everything that you notice has already happened. When you see an image, the brain has processed it within 1,000th of a second. When you hear a sound, it has already been decoded. That is, you are always stuck in the past, in a delayed simulation. Physicists like John Wheeler, David Bohm, and Amit Goswami brought to the world the concept of a participatory universe, where the observer has an active role in the creation of reality. You heard right. The universe responds to your perception. That is, what you believe becomes true. But then the inevitable question arises: if everything is a projection, who is projecting? Ever wonder where your thoughts come from? Who is hearing that voice in your head now? Maybe you say, "It's me." But who is this I? What is this you that observes, thinks, feels, decides? Think about it. You did not choose to be born. He did not choose his name, his culture, his language, his body, his family, nor the first thoughts that began to inhabit his mind. Everything has been programmed, installed. As if it were software running inside a machine, you are living an experience, but who is the observer of this experience? What if this I that you think is just a reflection conditioned by memories and beliefs? A construction of the mind, a manufactured ego. Many spiritual masters say that the ego is an illusion, a dream within the dream. Believing that you are just this body, this name, this face in the mirror is like believing that the character of a movie is real off-screen. But it has more. The very structure of time, past, present, and future, is another great illusion. You think you are living in the now, but everything that you notice has already happened. When you see an image, the brain has processed it within 1,000th of a second. When you hear a sound, it has already been decoded. That is, you are always stuck in the past, in a delayed simulation. Quantum physics has already shown that the behavior of subatomic particles changes depending on the presence of an observer. This is known as the observer principle. In the famous double-slit experiment, light particles, photons, behave differently when observed. When there is no observation, they act as waves, spreading in infinite possibilities. But when there is a measurement, an attentive observer, the waves collapse into particles, creating a definite reality. This means that before being observed, reality does not exist as something solid. It is only a cloud of probabilities, and this is not spiritual. Poetry, it's real science. It's modern physics. Can you understand the depth of this? Reality is shaped according to your perception. You are like a projector. Where you put your attention, place your energy, and where you put energy, create form. That's why your beliefs shape your experience. That is why pessimistic people live chaotic realities, and people who cultivate faith and gratitude live miracles. The reality you call life is a holographic projection of your mind. This idea is called by some scientists from the holographic universe. According to this theory, all the information of the universe is contained in every part of it, like a hologram, where each fragment carries the whole. That is, you contain the whole universe within yourself. It's not just a beautiful metaphor, it's literal. The Matrix is not just a movie, it's a powerful metaphor for this mental prison we live in. Conditioned by beliefs, traumas, habits, language, culture, we see the world through filters that distort reality. And what happens when you remove these filters? You wake up, not for a new reality, but for the only one that has always been here, pure consciousness. The infinite field of possibilities. You begin to realize that it is not the body, nor the mind, nor the thoughts. You are the screen where all this happens. It is the silent space where the world appears and disappears. And at that moment, something changes. Fear begins to lose power. Anxiety begins to dissolve, because you understand that all this is part of the dream. A game of consciousness experiencing itself. You are not a character played in the world. You are the whole world. You are the observer and the creator. And here is the most powerful secret of all. You can awaken from this illusion. But it is not enough to understand with the mind. One must experience with the heart. It is necessary to silence the noise of the ego and listen to the voice that speaks beyond thoughts. You need to get out of the autopilot and start living with presence, with intention, with connection to the essence that inhabits within you. True freedom is not outside. It is inside. The Matrix only controls those who believe to be just a character, but who awakens, who sees beyond, who feels the universe pulsating within himself. This becomes free. It becomes conscious. He becomes creator of his own reality. Have you ever wondered why certain experiences are repeated in your life? As if you were stuck in a cycle, reviving patterns, people, situations, as if the universe was trying to show you something? What if I told you that the world around you is not just a stage, but a mirror? Yes, a sacred mirror, designed to reflect with mathematical perfection what is within you. This is the truth that many hidden traditions have always preserved. Reality does not happen outside. It happens inside and projects itself as a hologram. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. The fear that you see in the other lives in you. The scarcity that you feel in the world is an absence that pulsates within you. The rejection, pain, loneliness that you believe to be in others are unhealed fragments of your own being. And when you begin to understand this, everything changes. The universe ceases to be a field of external battles and reveals itself as a field of internal healing. Every person who comes into your life is a master in disguise, a part of your psyche crying for integration. And that's where everything starts to make sense. The reality that you so strongly believe is solid is actually the reflection of a moving consciousness, your consciousness. And the more unconscious you are of your standards, the more the world cries out for you. Shout through problems, crises, conflicts, not as punishment, but as invitations to awaken. Nothing is by chance. No meeting, no loss, no pain. Everything is symbolic. Everything is a reflection. And if you continue to think that life is punishing you, you will remain trapped in the illusion of victim. But if you change the look, see yourself as creator of your own experience, the game changes completely. You stop being a puppet of circumstances and become an alchemist of your own existence. Have you ever heard the voice inside your head, the one who thinks, judges, compares? Remember, because it is. She talks all the time. But here's the question. If you hear that voice, then who are you? Are you the one who thinks? Or is it the one who observes thought? This is an ancient key of the Eastern teachings. The true I is not thought. It is consciousness that perceives thought. The ego, this character you believe to be, is a mental construct made of memories, fears, name, CPF, and traumas. But it's not you. You are the presence that watches. You are the blank screen where the film of life happens. And when you begin to realize this, something magical happens. You stop identifying with the pain. The pain comes and you observe it. Fear appears and you recognize it. Anxiety cries out. But you know, this is not me. This is something I am experiencing. You become the sky, no more clouds. And when he assumes this real transcendental identity, he realizes how small was the prison in which he lived. The prison of the mind. Quantum physics, which so frightens skeptics, has already taken this leap. It tells us there is no solid matter. Everything is energy, vibration, information. The chair where you are sitting, the screen you touch, the air you breathe. All this is made of the same substance, waves vibrating at different frequencies. What gives you the feeling of solid is only the collapse of these waves when they are observed. That is, nothing is real until you look. John Wheeler, quantum physicist, said that we live in a participatory universe, a world that needs you to exist. Without you, there is no wave collapse. Without you, there is no concrete reality. This is not cheap philosophy. This is science. So what does that mean? That you are not a passive part of the universe. You are an active part, co-creator. You are the spark that shapes the experience. And more than that, the world outside of you only exists because you are here to observe it. You are the center of creation. Now we will touch on a point that most frightens the human mind, death. But what if death was just a frequency change? What if the consciousness did not go out, but only change dimension? In the reports of EQMs, near-death experiences, many people report the same thing. They felt peace, saw a tunnel of light, met loved ones again, and had greater clarity than ever experienced in life. Why are these experiences so similar to each other, even in completely different cultures? because they reveal something that ancient traditions already knew. Consciousness is not attached to the body. It temporarily inhabits it. Death, therefore, is not the end. It is only a change of clothes, a transition between vibrational states. You are not this body. This body is a garment that you wear to experience a limited reality, but his essence, his true identity, cannot die. It is eternal, infinite, incorruptible. And when you lose the fear of death, you lose the fear of life. What if we told you that much of what you believe to be reality has been carefully designed so that you never question anything? From the moment we are born, we are fed with ideas, beliefs, and truths that we do not choose but accept as absolutes. We are programmed to follow invisible rules, to obey without reflection, to accept life as it is, without ever asking, who wrote this script? The so-called objective reality that we see with our eyes may not be more than a carefully structured illusion, a kind of collective hologram maintained by consensus, fears, and distractions. This control matrix operates in a subtle way. It imposes not physical currents, but mental currents. Paradigms, dogmatic religions, schools that teach what to think instead of how to think, entertainment that numbs the mind, and a media that dictates what is right or wrong. All this makes up a system of distraction, and what is the purpose of this? Keep you disconnected from your true essence. After all, an awakened human being who recognizes the power of his own spirit cannot be controlled. He ceases to be a predictable piece in the game and begins to act as a conscious creator of reality. But there is something even deeper behind this matrix. She is fed by her dense emotions: fear, anger, guilt, shame. These feelings keep the frequency of the collective in a low vibration, preventing consciousness from expanding. The more you vibrate in pain, the denser becomes the veil that covers your perception. The secret to break this cycle: self-observation, a questioning and vibrational elevation. When you begin to question everything, including what seems obvious, you start the process of liberation. The matrix does not resist a mind that thinks for itself. And when this mind aligns with the heart and soul, it becomes unstoppable. You're not stuck, just used to it. But now that you begin to see the invisible bars, you also start to see the door open, and it was always there. There is a language that is not spoken with words, but felt with the soul. An ancestral language that crosses eras, religions, and cultures. This is the language of symbols. Have you ever wondered why certain images, shapes, and numbers have such a profound impact on us, even when we don't consciously understand them? Symbols are shortcuts of consciousness. They are portals to higher realities, keys that activate dormant memories, forgotten archetypes, like fragments of a truth that has been within us since the beginning of time. The all-seeing eye, the serpent, the triangle, the circle, the flower of life. These figures cross cultures and mysteriously reappear in places separated by oceans and millennia. Coincidence? No. They are universal codes, inscribed in the very fabric of creation. But what happened? Over time, humanity disconnected from the essence of these symbols. They were corrupted, distorted, and used for control rather than liberation. The same symbols that once pointed the way of enlightenment are now seen with fear or ignorance. But the ancients knew. The Egyptians, the Atlanteans, the Druids, the Essenes, all understood that the true language of the spirit is not spoken. It is felt, dreamed, and revealed. They saw the world as a living web of hidden meanings, where everything was a sign, everything communicated something greater. From the flight of a bird to the pattern of a leaf, when you begin to wake up, something changes in your perception. You begin to read the world with the eyes of the soul. Time bends, signs multiply, encounters cease to be casual. You begin to feel that you are being guided by something greater, something that has always been there, whispering in the spaces between thoughts. The invisible language speaks to you again. And at this moment, you understand the universe never stopped communicating with you. You were the one who had forgotten how to listen. Now that you understand that the visible world is just a shell, that the symbols are keys, and that you are an active part of the mind of the universe, the question is what to do with this knowledge. It's no use just knowing. You need to integrate, live, practice. Spiritual awakening does not only happen in mystical moments, it happens in the now, when you decide to see reality as a mirror of your consciousness. Everything you live, attract, suffer, or celebrate, it is a reflection of what vibrates inside you. Want to change your life, change your vibration, align your mind to what you wish to manifest, abandon the old patterns, inherited fears, beliefs that limit you. You're not stuck, you're just asleep. Every symbol, every archetype, every occult teaching is a reminder. You are more than flesh and blood. You are creative mind, eternal soul, and pure consciousness. The real secret is not in the books, it's inside you. And if it made sense to you, don't let that message die here. Like, comment, share with someone who is also awakening. Let's spread this light together. Now tell me in the comments which symbol has always caught your attention, even if you don't know why.